Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oh, and it started again. I don't know if you can hear that in the mic with the filters. I hope not. The car was playing music. It stopped for about 30 seconds. I was like, it's go time. And then I just unmuted, and here it is. New York City. Currently baking and lurking. Well, it's good to have you, Mace. What are you making? We're already on the food talk. Inspired by Mace. Sorry, you don't need to respond if you're baking. Okay, good. I'll just be the one enjoying that then. I'm glad the filter is working. But for you all, I'll start our music. But yeah, I thought we'd go back to some of our townsfolk minis. Well, actually, I just have this one at the moment. But do some alt schemes. I know we've seen them painted on Hobby Hang in the past, and I also have a kitchen as well, if we have time for that. But if you are new here, we are running a terrain Kickstarter, Cities Untold Lowtown, a kind of ramshackle village or city environment. Lots of great systems, incredible roof geometry for different shaped buildings, verticality with scaffolding systems and all that, so please check out the Kickstarter page if you haven't seen it yet. Thank you for that link, Finley. I bought a pan that is the perfect size for only one loaf of focaccia, so I can make one sandwich for dinner using the leftover dough to make it to share size. That is brilliant. I'll tell you what, cooking for one is one of the hardest things to do, isn't it? With the kitchen, we should have made this a mukbang stream. What is this? I mean, honestly, it's not out of character if I started eating on stream, am I right? You'd think they mentioned this Kickstarter, I know. Well, welcome all. Thank you for joining me kind of on an off time for the old hamster. But we got the two things, so I'm gonna get started. I know normally we section off about 52 minutes of chatter before any paint lands on a mini, but on the last stream I did, what day was that, Wednesday? I did this alt mini that I liked a lot. I kind of like the cool colors, and on the factory schemes I went a little warmer with the clothing to sort of fit the environment, and I like how on the factory Dragonborn it's still a nice cool blue that makes it pop out, but I like the cool vibe, overall vibe of this one, so I might stick to something like that on the old Tabaxi. Not the same colors necessarily, but just the vibe. Hype? Hype. That's the combo I like to see. Should it be a blue? What do we have for cool? This paint does not want to come out. There we go. Yeah, surprise hobby hang. Honestly, it was somewhat impromptu. I think someone mentioned something like, hey, there's not any streams happening this weekend, so XYZ, and the update, whatever. I was like, well, I'm sitting here, so I could throw up the stream. So I'm glad it worked out. I paint vicariously through Hamster. Hey, any way you can paint, even if it's in spirit. Oh, you had a snowstorm, huh? Yeah, back home in Minnesota, I was seeing a ton of pictures of just wild, wild snow happening. The classic. The paint stubbornly won't come out, so you keep shaking it and squeezing it, and then all of a sudden too much comes out. I might throw something warm on here in case you want to shake it up on one section or another. Woodbury, yeah, this is the South Metro. Like Burnsville League and Savage kind of area. That's where I grew up. This is a yellow, but it's like a cold yellow. That's kind of neat. Throw that on there. I used this on the Dragonborn, so I want to not have it be a majority, but it's kind of a cold green color. Yeah, I went to school up in Duluth also. On the old Lake Superior. Hey, you made some progress today. That's awesome. I'll have to check out the Discord. I try to somewhat regularly check out the Wargame channels and the art and mini channels when I can. Glad I'm not in Minnesota this weekend. Yeah, it is very Minnesota in Minnesota this weekend. In New York, it finally got cold again, meaning it was about 30, and we're kind of spoiled if that's a cold day out here. I paint largely by praying that the next contrast paint I buy has a genie who will do it for me. No, I get that. I've been trying to use contrast paints a little more, or just transparent paints in general. I mostly have golden transparent and Army Painter speed paints that I got at Adepticon last year. And there's definitely a little bit of a learning curve. So I'm with you where I don't think it's quite as advertised when they're like, just slap it on and it's a painted mini. I mean, in a way it is, but you know, it takes a little doing to get it to work. Let's see. I'm packing up for a move soon, and I found a bunch of these nice brushes. Brand new. This isn't the one, but I'm saying I basically have a copy of these. So I'm excited. It's like I got it for free all of a sudden, even though I spent the money who knows when. Contrast was what brought me back into painting. Well, that's awesome. It is certainly a quick tool for the result. I painted, let's see, on my Instagram, I painted a Luke Skywalker for Legion in about 30 minutes with contrast. It was a combination of like contrast and dry brushing, and I think I used a bit of streaking grime quickly also, and an enamel wash. But I'm trying to really nail down like using those effects to get to do gaming stuff, because I just have so goddamn much. So I'm kind of in a place where I'm like, I have just as much display stuff pretty much, so it's like if I want to go hard on the painting, do that, and for gaming stuff, just get it playable. You know, I want to be happy with it, but just kind of categorizing the projects. Dwarven Forge brought me back into painting. Well, that's music to my darn ears. I hope the videos have been helpful. Those have been fun to make. You know what I'd say? Honestly, this set is probably one of the most unpainted friendly sets. Because it's really just a lot of dry brushing, a lot of I was gonna say the same pieces, but like the same material on the pieces. Like it's a lot of wood, right? So if you get the dry brush down on the wood, you can do almost every single piece, and even other pieces are just slightly different colors with the same technique. So honestly, I would encourage you, if you're leaning unpainted, this is the set to try it out in for sure. There's some little details here and there, but they're not overly complicated. Like, I would understand if you're looking at the Dread Hollow forest floors or something, maybe it's a little intimidating, which there's a video for that as well, where it's all explained. So hopefully those of you that got that unpainted have a helpful guide. But yeah, this set, as far as paint, is not overly complicated to execute. Painting is honestly why I stopped wargaming. I'll tell you what, I'm painting an army right now, or it's like a 2-player starter, so it's like 2 separate armies. It's like 86 models or something as one batch. And it's rewarding when you get to the end of a step, but not during. But, you know, for Dwarven Forge, I gotta do a lot of big batches, so I've kind of learned the headspace to get in where I can power through a number of big batches, so that's a gift. DF in the videos got me into painting again. I love that. I love all of the, you know, support that those videos have gotten. There's great comments and everything. Hello? I'm blurring. I'm fading away into the distance. There we go. I was becoming a ghost. It's helpful for understanding Picori colors. That's great. Yeah, it's a slowly growing range. It's interesting how it started with just specifically the paints for the schemes, but now, I mean, basically, we have a red, blue, and yellow in there. So it can technically do almost anything, but I'm really excited when we add a color. The most recent color, which was within the past year, is Dungeon Gray, which is the casting color. So that's kind of interesting, where you can sort of maybe fix mistakes and start from step 0, and you know, if you're trying to match it to something else that's factory painted or something. I even started to enjoy mini painting again. Learning how to paint wildlands and dry brush really made me feel comfortable. That's awesome. That's the thing about the Dwarven Forge schemes, is by design, they have to be simple to execute because they have to be mass produced, right? So that is always the goal, of making something that is fairly simple, or as simple as possible, and repeatable, and also impactful. Which is kind of the same with army painting, right? The same with anything, the tabletop ready mentality. Watching Aaron's Dread Hollow video, the Ruins video, that's awesome. I have an ungodly amount of base wood. Listen, I have been dreaming for the past 6 months in base wood and stucco. It's like I have a sepia filter on my brain. If I'm really being genuine, Knighthood, they're about the same, honestly. The roof and the scaffolding paint. It's really all just dry brushing. Like, the roofs start with a base coat, like an opaque base coat. And then it's just like 1 or 2 dry brushes, and then the scaffolding is just a couple dry brushes. So they're pretty much the same level of difficulty, I'd say, which is to say, not super difficult in the range of Dwarven Forge schemes. Yeah, it's all in the sculpt and the color combos, right? Like all the paint is trying to support the sculpt, because there's so much artistry that goes into that, right? So it's just like what makes the detail shine. And sometimes it's a color, but there's some, like, the way I say it to Nate is, I was like, this was an easy piece because all I got to do is paint it so that you can see it. As long as you can see the sculpt, it's glowing, you know? Get some paint on the... Thank you, Mace. You're right. That is true, Finley. That's a good point. So the roofs have a wood section plus the roof. So there is more colors involved, but it's so, you know, you might have to be a little bit neater on the areas that connect, like the two different parts. So I guess there is a little added complexity there. And then the scaffolding is mostly just the two dry brushes all over. So that is a fair point. That is a fair point. But every section, it's just like a couple dry brushes on everything. Maybe there's a base coat and a dry brush like the roof. So I really think this is the set to go unpainted if you've been curious about it. What was I gonna do? I think I was gonna do kind of a almost like an Arctic cat. So I might even just do this all over. This sort of dark gray blue or mid gray blue. Or mostly all over. I might try to leave the broom untouched or something. I also love the minis. I think they're just the perfect amount of detail to be really fun to paint, but they're not, you know, swimming with details. I love Warhammer. It's my first miniature love, but those things are crawling with all kinds of chains and metals and pouches and whatnot. Yeah, I was thinking some kind of white. Yeah, Lynx is a good reference. I'm gonna do it everywhere. It's kind of an overall ambiance, and also there's something motivating to me about having paint on every part of the miniature. Even if it's mostly going to get covered up or changed. So I'm just going to do that. And then, even if just a tiny amount is left, there'll be a cohesive color on everything that kind of ties it together. Yeah, non-human and non-combatant, I like that a lot. But even like, you know, a pose like this, they're ready for something. Maybe they're like, ho, traveler, or maybe they're like, the raiders are coming, you know, like they're prepared for something. They're not idle, right? I really like the Dragonborn pose. It's super dynamic. It's like looking over your shoulder in a seedy part of town or something. Or just like, hello. Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Is that wood can be so many different colors depending on the type of wood and the environment, like the weathering and stuff. So there's so many different directions you can go. Okay, I'm adding white. I don't want it to go super white or gray. I want to have some of the blue in there, so I'll mix that up too. pretty much covering everything. There's a little bit black left behind as like a main shadow or the deepest shadow, and then that gray is kind of mostly a shadow. It'll mostly be covered up, but it, you know, supports the colors on top of it, just with transparent acrylics being how they are. And then this is sort of a mid-tone. That is sort of like the real local color of the thing, and then we'll highlight it up. LED exclamation marks like an NPC has a quest. Hey, we already did the Stormwind World of Warcraft alternate routes on the stream. I'll tell you what, I played the crap out of Elden Ring, and just a couple weeks ago I started playing Dark Souls 1, the remaster, and I played Dark Souls 3, a little bit of Bloodborne, a little bit of Sekiro, and so I thought, okay, I wanna play them all. I want to see the progression of the games. Dark Souls 1, maybe it'll feel a little clunky, it might feel a little off. I think it's incredible. It's just as masterful to me as the others, really. So I'm having a great time with that. It is interesting to go, so I was somewhat used to sort of the linear maze-like levels in Dark Souls 3 and stuff, and then Elden Ring is the open world, so I played that for hundreds of hours. And now I'm back to not an open world, and it's fun going back to the sort of the maze. My entire homebrew campaign is basically based off Bloodborne. I would play that. That sounds awesome. Dark Souls 1, one of my favorites of all time. Yeah! Yeah, I think I'm at about the halfway point. I just got into Anor Londo, I think it's called. And I'm at the boss where it's the two enemies, and it's kicking my butt a little bit. Waiting for nicer weather so I can prime my Dark Souls minis. Yeah, honestly, we have a vent in the shop, so I put on a mask and was spray canning in the shop yesterday, which I have not done before. There's still some fumes, so we had to crank that thing up, but I saw the weather, and I was like, yeah, this ain't happening outside. Usually there's not a giveaway on the old Hamster stream. Sorry about that. It's a little, lower key. I'm just in my bedroom. I don't live in a wood hut. I'm masking my mess with a green screen. I have not played Demon Souls. Part of me almost bought a PlayStation 5 exclusively to play Demon Souls, but I have not done that. We have a wood barn, wood interior walls, wood floors, wood furniture. Well, it's nice to have references. It's really just experimentation, right? Yeah, ONS make me cry, yeah. That's where I'm at. I was doing good with the bosses, having played Elden Ring. I was like, alright, I'm not a total noob. And then I'm getting there and I'm like, good God. 1.5 weeks a year to spray, yeah. I do really love the airbrush as a tool. I totally understand people that don't use it. But I use it mostly for priming. Pretty much all the city's prototypes are airbrush primed. Which was not foolproof. At that scale, that many pieces, I really had to be disciplined about cleaning it and like learning how to dismantle it and like what causes the problems. So there were some hiccups, but I just basically had to give it a deep clean after, like, you know, a couple hundred pieces. Kingsfield, I have not heard of that. I saw the Kickstarter for the Elden Ring board game with all the miniatures, and I was like, oh, I need that. I can't back another board game Kickstarter. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to play the game. So I'll just get these awesome minis and a bunch of components that I won't know what to do with. Maybe I can find something on Etsy or something where someone has done some inspired designs. I'm just picking out smaller and smaller areas to highlight a little bit here. Hair is kind of interesting in how it's reflective, so I'm kind of imagining like a halo. So there's like a highlight up here and a highlight up here. You know, there's kind of like a circle of light where it's bouncing off your hair with the oils and stuff. I like how deep the eyes look. It's almost like a black fur circle around the eyes. How does anyone play super complicated niche board games? I did, when I was still in Minnesota, get to play a whole campaign of Imperial Assault, which I think is kind of like Descent with Star Wars. And that was a lot of fun. It actually was fairly simple. There's a lot of mechanics and stuff, but the way that it like progresses and you start small and build up and add things, it actually was pretty simple to jump into. Seems like it'd be hard to find enough people that would dedicate to learning it. Ain't that the thing with all gaming, right? War games, RPGs. Almost got a pure white here now. Ah, painting today. Yes, yes. It's always a good day when we can paint, huh? Clones of Dunshire level complicated. There has to be someone who like made the full out fleshed out rules for that. It does kind of look undead, isn't it? It looks very menacing. I was just kind of thinking, someone said like a lynx, like sort of like an Arctic cat, but the deep eyes. Maybe it will be undead. That's kind of neat. It's still just sweeping its stoop. for centuries after its death. Yeah, that gives me an idea. If I can manage it. If I was painting a Dwarvenite Mini, I probably would still prime it. There's no hurt in it. The casting material does take acrylic paint pretty well, but it will always help with adhesion and durability a little bit, so I would never say don't prime it. You don't necessarily have to, just like with when you're painting the terrain. You have lynx all over your property? They make devil sounds? Oh my gosh. I'm always painting my thumb. One time I walked into the store, I had paint on my lip from when I licked my brush and it was still wet. And someone was like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, this is an artist that Chris knows from the Northwest. And she does a lot of music inspired by video games. Amy Waters is the artist. Ghostly. Link's mating calls. Just screeching for a partner. Yeah, the only times I haven't deliberately painted a mini are when I'm using paints that are kind of a little more durable to sort of skip the priming step and add a color. Trying to get that pinpoint eye kind of thing. Back to programming, good luck. Stream surprise. Yeah, this is kind of last minute. Screeching is one way to get noticed by a potential mate. Hi, Letitia. The most epic mutton chops, yeah. Those are pretty wild chops. Look at that. I didn't even think of that. Spooky scary. Kind of wanted it a little brighter. But still like that. Nah, maybe not brighter, like hotter, right? I like that deep red glow. So we're talking about different kinds of wood, so maybe it would be a really like old dry wood, right? Like it's been holding onto this same broom for hundreds of years in undeath. That's a little too cold. I'm not gonna make it fully green, but just have sort of an old dead look underneath. I'm into the zombie cat idea. Thank you to whoever said that. That is something I have not thought of on these minis. You can make them all zombies. It's a whole stream series right there. Oh, sorry about that. I think it's just a habit for the normal streams. This one wasn't planned. I just said, they said, yeah, there's not streaming happening. I was like, I'm sitting in my chair, so if we want to do a stream. I'm doing this at home, so I don't have, like, the widget or whatever Chris uses for that, unfortunately. It's just me in my bedroom. Add a little texture to that. Have a good sleep. Got a little green on the old paw. Can you do that from there? Go ahead if you'd like. Please do. Sure, we can wait till 7. About 15 minutes. So those that asked, at 7 o'clock we will run a giveaway. With the power of Chris. Oh yeah, right. A lot of times 7 o'clock is the stream time, so that's a good point, Finley. Well, maybe I will go a little warmer on the clothing for like that weathered, old, dusty look. Power of Chris compels you. Yes, exactly. Hey Rome, how you doing? Maybe I use some of these ugly greens I just mixed for that broom section. Get a little, I also need some of this. This shadow's kind of weird. Oh, thank you. Honestly, it's just an old camcorder. The heck is the model? It's a Canon something. It's just like a video camera with the screen that pops out, and I use a, what is that? Cam Link. Well, someone suggested, or kind of asked, is this a zombie cat? And we kind of going with that. So that's what we're painting here. I do have a kitchen if we have time for it as well. I'm gonna have this brown wash or glaze I mixed up. I'll throw that on here as well. Previously used it up here on the broom handle. It doesn't want to settle right there where I want it. But anyway, it looks all tattered up. Ooh, we got some Regal Red. Awesome. Difference between a wash and a glaze. It's basically in the application. It's a similar fluidity. Excuse me. But a wash is like when you just like douse the whole thing, right? You're trying to let it like stain everything and maybe run into the recesses. And then a glaze is pretty much the same deal, taking the same mix, but a much smaller amount. and placing it. I want it to stay exactly where I place it. And so it's just a filter. And I'm not trying to get that wash effect all over of it running. I'm just trying to filter the exact surface I'm touching. One has a really bad effect on your ham. You don't like glazed ham? Oh, right, washed ham. No, yeah, that, don't do that. Well, I guess you could wash it. Give it a little rinse from the store. Don't wash your ham in the sink after cooking it. I'm thinking beforehand. Afterward, I don't know. Yeah, of course. I do kind of want to get some of this green back. Some of that brown was still wet. Kind of let it mix together. I'm just kind of pushing it downward, this heavy spot. Getting it off of the upper area a little bit more. I don't mind the stain. I don't even mind kind of the coffee staining effect that's happening. Because that's kind of what would happen if this is all weathered up anyway. Kind of want to be done with this section soon, but after the effects kind of muddled it, I'll just, which I like, I'll just re-add some little highlights. Kind of textury, dotty sort of thing. There we go. I let my ham roll in the mud after cooking. Let it go back to its roots. One last fleeting moment as a pig. Yeah, sorry I asked. No. Ham and Nuln oil. Irish classic. I'm gonna do a similar thing and just add a little texture. Kinda neato. Is it 7 o'clock? Alright, we're 1 minute away from the giveaway. What should the word be? If Chris is ready. What should the giveaway word be? Or Mace can run it too. Okay, great. Links. One of the original suggestions. Modular ships. Okay, Merc, sorry, I gotta ban you real quick. I was kidding. Ham. Zombie. Alright, I saw links first. And it was the kind of the original inspiration for this mini. So let's do links. Lynx. Worth it. Ham wash. Let's do links. Inspired by the miniature. So type links in the chat. Gave me 2. All right, don't do it quite yet. Don't do it quite yet. Okay. Or you're welcome to, but I think Mace has to set it up. Hold up. Sorry, I've not run this myself. Okay, now type or retype links into the chat. Links, but like ham wash. So make sure if you just typed it a second ago, retype it and get yourself in there. Don't spam it or do it more than that, but rum ham. Oh, the background? Thank you. I had the green screen going and then we added the new overlay for cities. I was like, I'm gonna just throw some wood back there. Linux, my favorite Peanuts character. Oh! He finally died his final death. The zombie cat. I still want, like, a super bright pinpoint. If I can get it. Thank you. Yeah, it's coming up pretty good. Yeah, not normally a hobby hang thing, but it was in the update. So this is a unique time, special stream. So type, if you're just getting here, type links into the chat right now for a giveaway. No, sorry, Lynx, like the cat. Kind of like that inspired this cat. Yeah. Oh, spooky. Try to hit it with some of that orange now. YouTube painters. I watch a lot of Marco Frazzoni. Not just Mecha, I think he's called NJM. He gets really into the thick theory stuff, which I like. It'll definitely teach you, you know, the theory behind schemes and stuff. But it is a little crunchy. You mean Garfield? Lila Mev I have not seen yet, though. I'll have to check that out. I watch Miniac, I watch, and then John, those two. I like Sergio Calvo a lot, but again, that's a lot of display painting and a lot of time lapses. So there's not commentary in all the videos, but it is a relaxing watch and a fun study. Angel Heraldez does a lot of great tutorial videos, from gaming to display. Squidmar, yeah, Squidmar. All right, we're ready. If you haven't typed links, this is the last 10 seconds to type links. If you haven't not yet. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll it. Drosy X, congratulations. Congratulations on winning the giveaway. I believe Dwarven Forge Live will reach out to you and whisper for the information. Try to get something on this kitchen. The giveaway was for a relaxing CD of Link's mating calls. The devil shrieks, apparently. Alright, I'm going to get out the Picornis for this. What do I even have here? Yeah, this is a resin prototype. I'm gonna do kind of a granite thing that I did on the fireplace, just for fun. I'm not sure if it's gone out yet, but at a certain point, I wrote up a little dev journey for the kitchen. Might be kind of interesting to check out in one of the Kickstarter updates. Yeah, I'm trying something different than the factory kitchen here, just for fun. Got to get a little messy around the details, but we will cover that up. Yeah, there's a lot of great little details on here. Oh, so it must have gone out if you've seen the meat kitchen. Meat bricks. This down here, I won't paint a ton because it kind of gets charred up. So there's kind of a lot of black dry brushing. But the granite fireplace starts with like this fairly opaque base coat, and then there's some dry brushing on top of it, so it's going pretty heavy to start because it especially wants to live in the recesses, which is actually how the factory kitchen starts as well. It's just with I believe a base brown. The yellower one? Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I thought that was a fairly good option also. It was certainly, you know, more colorful. Like it had like that color identity to it. I like the final one that is a little more desaturated but still bright. Oh, I almost forgot these down here. I'm starting with the bricks because to me it's kind of like the primary area. It like takes up the majority of the space and it's behind all the details, so we can be a little sloppy and cover the stuff that's on top of it, right, in further steps. Lowtown would be a sweet ghost town. Are you talking like actual like ghostly, like ghost colored greenish bluish ghostly vibes town? By itself, it could already be like a fallen ghost town, deserted. But that would be awesome, like a literal, like, ghastly city. That'd be sweet. Scooby-Doo town? Let's see. I can probably mix the next thing from what I have. Goes with the Scooby-Doo bookshelf. Yeah, exactly. Sounds like we've already made this place. Kind of trying to get like a pinkish gray sort of thing, but not too pink. Just kind of do it in patches. I don't know, this is very much like an abstraction of certain kinds of granite that I've seen. I use an airbrush a lot. We don't usually use it in the factory schemes. But a lot of times when I'm doing minis, I'll do like the first couple steps with an airbrush. Like sometimes it's just a black and white sort of zenithal, but a lot of times I like to do a colored base coat with airbrush just to get something on the miniature, especially because I've used it a lot for priming the prototypes over the past year. So I'm getting pretty used to it, so I'm starting to use a lot more just for general stuff, and even like little effects like really up close and tight, like eye glow and stuff, just like an airbrush glaze, trying to get comfortable with that. Elven facades, maybe like inspired by the ruins, like a bluish kind of thing. That'd be neat. Mixing up a bit of gray. It's like close to base gray that we use. I think there was a little of that red on my brush, got a little purple. Blue with silver leaves, that sounds cool. Copper with verdigris, I am always a fan of. There's kind of that on the bay window roof piece. I mean, it's just naturally a really impactful combination of like an orangey color with like a blue-green, you know, it's basically complementary. That little bit of olive does not want to dry. The bad casts? Yeah, we normally get it down where there's not too many that are unusable. But yeah, sometimes they'll become paint tests or something. The color I'm using now is just like a light gray. It's probably a little lighter than base gray. I don't have base gray at home with me, but on the fireplace, it's a base gray in this combo. It's just olive, and then you use either like a regal red or a deep lava plus black and white to make a desaturated pinkish color. And then sort of tie it all together, make it a little more subtle. The patches, I mean, with the gray dry brush on top of it. Like I said, I'm kind of just ignoring it here and here because there's some charring that'll happen. Oh, missed the dry brush on one piece of a batch. I've been there so many times. I feel ya. I feel ya. I'm like, I'm done. And then I turn over. One time I had finished a batch and the next morning there was a single piece from the batch on my desk and like the front part was painted. I was like, what's wrong with this thing? And then I just turned it over and it was completely blank. I was like, oh yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, the elf stuff is cool. Might go even further than the fireplace just for fun to really catch some of this stuff. Oh, look at me, I almost forgot a dry brush here too. On this little side. While we're on the brick, I'm just gonna char it up, kinda. I kind of do it heavier toward the back, and it gets a little bit lighter toward the front. And there is a grill piece that's up here, so I kind of hit this edge on the top too. Just for time, I'm not sure I'm gonna do the back. I'm not sure if it'll be in high tone. We'd probably do something new, but we'll have to see. Yeah, this music is always good. Always the vibe for the old hobby hang. Again, this is Amy Waters is the artist. Artist Chris knows from the Northwest, I believe. Needs an induction stovetop in Hightown? Holy gosh. I might... I was gonna say caverns, but I don't have caverns here. If you read the dev journal, we switched the border from the kind of regular wood scheme to the dark accent wood colors, but I'm going to go back to the old base wood here. Arcane stoves. That'll do it. Get my hot pockets done in 10 seconds instead of a couple minutes. The power of magic. I'll hit these kind of pegs with this too. Kind of like a wood peg. But we do have the wood cutting board as well. Trying to think of what the stone countertop should be. Because in factory, it's like a gray stone, kind of your classic stone, but the bricks are grayish now, so I'm trying to think what that should be. Oh, wooden plates, that's neat. Let's do that. I think in the final, some of these details are actually the base wood color. The bowls too, maybe. Maybe the jars down here can be different. What bowl? Looks like bread or something. Let's hit that. This is kind of part of what goes into the dev too. Like, okay, if I'm adding a color, how many different things can it serve? Can it like go on? And you gotta be careful too, because you don't want too many things the same color, but things like this break it up enough, especially when we add the additional colors. High-town kitchen with marble, that'd be cool. I actually haven't painted a marble effect now that I think about it. I could try that. Might as well give it a go. I know you said Hightown, but I don't know. Maybe they got a hold of some marble somehow in the old Lowtown. This silver, I'm just doing like kind of a bluish gray. Let's see. Yeah, I've heard some problems with Citadel paints too. I haven't used them myself on Dwarvenate, but just doing a second coat of the same thing here since we're going over black. It might take a couple layers. And if it's a little patchy, maybe that kind of works out for marble. Let's see here. Oopsie. It's a little too thin. This isn't running off my brush very well. Looking a little clunky right now, but I have some ideas. A hamster painted piece? Maybe one day we'll do that. I have a lot of miniatures that I don't know what to do with that are from Hobby Hang. I don't quite know if this is going to work, but we'll try to finish it out. Just trying to kind of fuzz it up now with the glaze, like the original color. Might take a couple of coats. Maybe the Thieves Guild stole tombstones from Hightown. Yeah. This one needs like a cross section. There's like, it's too patterny over here. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I haven't done marble before, but I think I have a plan that's gonna work. If I just keep glazing this, it will not be so harsh. And then we can maybe add a couple of darker, thin lines to finish it. What time are we at? Alright, I think we should have time. Some of these are so dark, I might be able to get away with almost undiluted. Ah, it's starting to look okay. That's kind of a cool effect. I definitely like this one more than this one. I gotta do that more to this one. Thank you, yeah, it's turning out good. I did not know if this was gonna work. Some of these lines are so dark already, I might not even do additional dark lines at the end. Actually, over here, what I should do is char this up. They probably shouldn't have put metal over here, or marble over here. So if that side kind of fails, I can just add some black charring. It's not too bad. I think I might actually stop there and do the rest of this thing. Going unpainted landmarks. All right, get some painting done. Well, now it's just a shame that the marble is all charred. But you're right. It makes logical sense. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Fairly fast. Fairly effective, I might say. It was just kind of a diluted, really dark purple, and I added a touch of blue to it. And, well, so the base coat was like white with a very, very small amount of blue for like a, you know, baby bluish gray. And then it was a dilute dark purple blue and just thin lines with the tip of the brush, and then I did slightly darker lines, adding a very small touch of black to it. And then once I got the lines down, I just went back to the same base color and thinned it down as a glaze, and like kept glazing this out to kind of blur the lines. Not too shabby. just for time, I might go back to just a regular black and white gray for the rest of this stone, because there's not a whole lot of it. Actually, I might just reverse char this by not painting a lot of it. Maybe I'll throw some warmth in the highlight. Yeah, wooden stone shouldn't be too bad. I think just kind of going back to some neutrals here to finish this out, because we have a couple interesting details to do, like the food and stuff. I think this is a wood plank, but I'm just going to hit it with this gray while I have it. Alright. Yeah, Wildlands is a lot of fun to paint. A lot of colorful stuff. Quite a bit more detail, you know, relative to some other sets maybe, but there are either video or PDF guides on almost everything, so I would still encourage you to try it out. Managed to paint a bunch of Elven Ruins and a couple of the Escarpment Megapacks. Awesome. The paint chipping, well, honestly, that is one reason to prime. It's one of two things. You can prime or both. You can prime or varnish it with either a matte or a satin or gloss if you want. A clear coat. That will prevent chipping. That's probably the thing I would actually do first, but priming does help with the adhesion. You don't have to. But definitely try spraying it with a clear coat. And also some of it too is just trying to be aware when you're assembling it and using it. You know, soft contact when you're putting them together. Because the factory paint is like an enamel paint. It's like really durable. But when we use acrylics on it, it you know, adheres fairly well, but it is not quite as durable. So if they're knocking together a bunch, that might happen. There are some hobby branded matte sprays. Honestly, I've just used one from the hardware store that just says clear coat matte. But just with anything, test it on a single piece and see how it affects stuff, because some of them can cloud, so you want to be really conservative with each layer. Do a quick spritz and let it dry, because you don't want it to kind of frost on you. Yeah, Krylon clear coat is one I've used, or like a Rust-Oleum, and they're fairly cheap too. But if you want to be super careful, they do make like art finishing spray, which is like another clear coat but a little gentler. It's for like canvases and stuff, like fine art. You can also try that from like Winsor & Newton. What's the one I just used? Braid or something? Any kind of art brand clear coat also. Thank you, Wizard. Do you use the unpainted pieces? What do you mean? Use them for building and stuff? Let's see, I need like a meat red and like a green maybe for the herbs type stuff. Thank you, yeah, it's turning out pretty good. It's interesting now how in the factory when the bricks are the brightest, and now this marble counter is kind of the brightest. I'm gonna get out the stucco, because we can use it for multiple things, I think. We can highlight the wood and hit some details. My paper towel is very wet. It's not a great dry brushing paper towel, but hopefully it'll work out. This is probably a little bit darker than the actual like base wood highlight, because I just kind of dipped it into a portion of base wood. I probably have a little more stucco in the mix, but it still works. It's just, I just mean it's not matching exactly right now, but it's still a good wood color. And we might be able to get it close with an additional layer. That's pretty close. Hit the pegs. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna hit all these with something, and I might pick one or two of them out with something else later. Yeah, Tester's dull coat is another good, reliable one. Burgundy meat. Yeah, normally I have the perfect color sludge or that I use on the herbs and stuff, but I don't have it here. This is kind of close. Probably a little more saturated. Definitely more saturated, but a nice lively green. Gonna gray that out a bit and maybe hit one of these. Have a good night, Wilderness. Thanks for joining us. Vallejo Poly Matte Varnished. Yeah, unfortunately, the elf stuff and a lot of the prototypes, they're all needed for builds. We don't have a lot of extra stuff in some of the categories. But we had an extra kitchen. All right. Alright. Might do a little bit brighter this here. Now, just do a quick couple of metallic elements, and I think we'll call it good. Just gonna throw a little touch of black with the Sisal silver. So it is a fairly bright silver. Kind of missed a little section of counter there. Stinks. There's some spots of olive that are going to be hard to cover, but I think I'm going to char that anyway. Especially in that deepest area. And because I like the marble quite a bit, I'm going to try to touch up that back spot. Alright, not too bad. We have ourselves a kitchen. This is a little uniform of this charring over the main stove. So I'm going to just vary that a little bit. There we go. Yeah, red roofs would be cool. I considered that. The Tudor roofs from the City Builder lean fairly red, so I avoided that for this time. But like some really like crimson red roofs would be neat. Yeah, so I don't know where they got the marble in Lowtown, but there you have it. Oh, I do have the wood highlight out. I should hit some of this stuff real quick. And a metallic knife blade would be nice. And there we go. This is just a kind of store brand synthetic brush. I think this is a Blick one. Blick is an art store. So it's just it's a white bristled synthetic. Most of the ones I use are the yellow golden Taklon. But all of these used to be yellow. These are all literally just like cheapo packs you can get on Amazon. This brand is Princeton, a little more expensive. I don't think you actually need this brand, honestly. These are just from like a Amazon pack of like cheap ones. These ones got a little too cheap. There's like some kind of weird bristles on the end of some of them, but the flat ones are nice. So maybe for round, those slightly nicer ones. This is from Monument Hobbies. The Blick. So it might be worth it for the round ones, Princeton. And then this is my nice brush. This is like natural hair, that's expensive, but it's pointier. So I did use that a little bit. But yeah, for dry brushing, this is just like a makeup brush from the pharmacy. Soft bristle kind of thing. The downside to painting your own is getting it to match with other store-bought or eBay pieces. I mean, I hear you. Some of my longest days are trying to match exactly like pieces that I have. Like I can approximate it, but get it to be exact is a little tough. But it just takes patience. What I would do, that you can really cheaply get small hobby-sized bottles of paint. I just get a bunch of these empties. Like this is the roof color for the dark roofs, the base coat. And I just sit there for like 20 minutes and mix up like 1 or 2 bottles of this. Instead of mixing it all the way, I just match it once and make a big batch of it. So you can try that when you do find a batch or match it. You don't have to rematch it later. Yeah, I'm glad you're having a good time. It's good to see some new names or names I don't see quite as often on my Thursday hobby hang. So I'm glad we did this. Let's see, where's the tabaxi I just did? Oh. Alright, so we have our undead tabaxi. Turned out kind of cool. This is one I did from Wednesday's stream. So these minis are fun to paint. The poses are dynamic, there's just enough detail. I like these minis a lot. And we have the rare Lowtown marble kitchen. Yeah, it turned out fun. I'm glad you suggested that marble and challenged me to try it out. I think that turned out pretty good. I'm excited for the minis. Heck yeah, I love that. Oh, those were-tigers are cool. I love those things. Those are fun. Great sculpts. I think the same sculptor did these as well. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, thank you for joining me. Thank you for all your support on the Kickstarter. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out the Cities Untold Lowtown Kickstarter page. There's just a couple days left. And join the Discord. The awesome community can answer a lot of questions. They share a lot of painting and ideas, and they can help with Kickstarter questions as well. And there should be the rest of the stream schedule for the Kickstarter will be on there as well. So if you had a good time here, we do a lot of streaming and showing off the Kickstarter stuff. You can see builds and that kind of thing. There's also great walkthrough videos of all the pledges and sets and stuff on the YouTube channel. So there's a lot of content to watch there to see some Dwarven Forge magic. But other than that, thank you for hanging with me in Lowtown, and I'll see you next time.